Okay. What was your name? What's your name, age, and year you graduated?
My name is Ricky Marshall. I graduated this past May of 2015. My major was criminal justice, with an emphasis in pre-law studies.
Where are you from?
I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Why did you choose to attend TSU?
I chose to attend Texas Southern University because my mother, she heard about the school. One of the board of regents, one of the past board of regents, went to our church in Dallas, Texas, and she informed her about Texas Southern University. And as me being an up and coming high school graduate, she preferred me go here because it was an HBCU and it was close to home.
How was TSU when you attended here?
It was crazy. It was wild. It was fun. Coming in, honestly, with having going to one of the only HBCUs that had all 9 Greek organizations on campus at one time. Really, experiencing, just how everybody really showed unity at TSU. I mean, you had your ups, you had your downs, but at the end of the day, everybody stood together as one.
That's good. What activities were you in while you attended Texas Southern?
Oh man, I was in the Ocean of Soul. I played the trombone for a minute. Wasn't in it long. I was in it just long enough to say I was in the ocean. Let me see. I was in SGA. I was the chief of staff to the past SGA president Terrence Bolton, and I'm also a member of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Was race a big thing when you attended school here?
Nah. We were more shocked if we seen someone who wasn't African American. Not in a bad way. It was just kind of like, oh, hey, you know what I mean? Like, we really, it wasn't like a why are you here type of situation or anything like that. It was just like, oh, hey, what's up? And everybody was cool. It never played a big factor, only because we didn't let it play a big factor. We was all here for one reason, and that was to get an education.
When you were younger, did your mom and your dad talk to you about racism?
Well, I grew up, I'm from Dallas. I was born in Dallas, but when I was younger, I moved to East Texas, which was very, very racist. Like you're, watching your old school, race, war type of movies. That's what I kind of grew up in my childhood before I moved back to Dallas. So it really wasn't anything that you had to, really explain to us about because, we all lived it on a day-to-day basis. We just had to learn how to humble ourselves and, make sure we fought through it as well as keeping our dignity at the same time.
So when you decided to go to school here, was it like a big deal, like to your family members, and like how was the move from Dallas to Houston?
I'm the only person in my family to ever go to college. So, everybody was basically rooting me on, like, yo, we'll be the first one. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I'm the first one. And I achieved that. Not gonna say it was easy, because no one in my family even knew, even a piece of what I was going through. So I low-key had to find people that was around my inner circle that had, just the same amount of drive that could really motivate me to push, further, because it was kind of hard to call home because they really couldn't give me advice on how to, persevere through college.
What were your favorite memories while you attended Texas Southern?
Let me see. My freshman year, I didn't have your typical, moving in and everybody's a freshman. I moved straight into the upperclassmen apartments. Everybody in my room was already Greek, so I was already living, that Greek, partying all the time and stuff like that. But everybody that was also in my room also graduated at the same time. They're all doing well for themselves. We still, kick it from time to time. We go, out and have drinks and just reminisce on old times. Then of course, becoming a Q, like that just opened up the whole, floodgates to everything. Just because I lived it, as far as my roommates and everything, but to actually be a part of it, it kind of made me and my friends become a whole lot more closer. Although we are part of different organizations, we're all a part of different organizations. And it just really brought us closer because we really could intermingle in all aspects of college.
Name name an important person you encountered while you was at Texas Southern.
There was one guy in particular. He's also a frat brother, but even before that, his name's Leon Spencer. Seeing a transition, in him that I had never seen in anybody, that ever attended. Well, I can't say ever, but attended college while I was here. Not gonna go into any, details or anything like that, but when you see somebody go from one aspect of life, which was more of the secular side of life, and then really transition into becoming a man, as well as an Omega man at that, you go from wearing, braids and, really just, looking like a typical, someone that's coming from, a hard background, to saying that, I'm gonna leave all of this behind and really transition and become a man. And, watching him become, SGA president as well, before Terrence Bolton, and really, coaching him how to become the SGA president, and he, further, following in his footsteps, kind of, really showed me that, it really don't matter what side that you come from, what side of the spectrum that you're from. You can, if you really want to be something in life, you can always transition yourself into becoming what you want to become.
Describe how campus was when you were here.
There were no trees. That's why I'm mad.
What? No trees?
There was no trees. The Greek trees are back, and I'm very happy for that. But that was one of the things that I missed. But other than that, we created a whole new culture. We didn't need the trees. We didn't need the benches in the back at the point. We just needed the brotherhood. We just needed our friends, and even outside of just being Greek, just your friends in general. Even when you first came, everybody stuck together. You know what I mean? And so that's why, Texas Southern, it's a very, very good place. It sits in a really, dear spot in my heart, though.
Are HBCUs important to you, and why?
They're important to me as long as the HBCU deems it important to themselves to keep the culture of an HBCU. I've seen a lot of different mottos that people try to brand on TSU, and it always becomes something, that it's not. And because of that, it sparks a lot of controversy and everything like that. But I think if everybody just really sit back and just, go back and look at those yearbooks, back from in the 60s and even before that, when, and everything like that, you see how everybody really mingled and everybody embraced the culture of an HBCU, as well as knowing that they came to this HBCU because they had nowhere else to go to get the education that they needed to succeed in. So from a historical standpoint, it really holds also a really dear spot in my heart. In the new day and age, we need a lot of work to really know where we're going, where we've been. You'll never know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. So it still holds, even today, of course, because I'm living in this day and age, it holds a really good spot in my heart.
How was school spirit when you attended TSU?
School spirit was okay. It was okay. We wore shirts. At that time, everybody wore maroon and gray I'm in that thing shirts. It was just, everybody, like I said, we all tried to brand different things. And, I had one, everybody had one, and now it's straight out of Texas Southern, Take Back TSU. You have all these different things that has evolved over time.
Okay, how do you feel about being able to carry guns on campus now, especially at HBCU, and especially here since we already had about 3-4 shootings? So how do you feel?
Well, I honestly, to be honest with you, I think people are trying to use that law to blame what happened on campus. That's not the reason. To be honest with you, I've seen a lot of stuff happen on this campus. I've personally seen someone, shot in the middle of the street right by Tilwester while I was standing outside. Dude just walking down the street. That wasn't reported. It's a lot of stuff that wasn't reported, but now that you have you know, this law that was passed, and now, okay, now someone gets shot. Okay, let's blame it on this. Everybody wants to have something to, you know, lean on as being the reason. Not saying that I approve people walking around with guns on campus. I don't even think you need to have a gun on campus, considering that, you know, you should be spending your money on a book anyway. You know what I mean? But I'm in limbo with it, but at the same time, it's something that should not, you know, happen. If you're blaming what happened on TSU's campus for that law, then I can't get with you with that. But, you know, if you're just saying from a general standpoint that having guns on campus, whether it's an HBCU, a PWI, or any type of institution, whether you're a student or a teacher, you know, if you stand firm behind that, saying that no, that's not right, then okay, cool. But people have been getting shot on college campuses for years, decades. You know, high schools, elementary schools. You know, and there wasn't a law or anything like that. So I don't think that law you can't really lean on for that.
Okay, and if you could, would you attend Texas Southern all over again?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I would. If it was like how it was when I was here, because you know I've seen an evolution both in the good and the bad. No one really mingles or intermingles like they used to. You could walk on campus and meet a complete stranger, and you wouldn't have to worry about anybody just looking at you sideways. You know, because everybody came from so many different walks of life. Everybody was like, yo, so where you from? Cali. So what you do? Like, what do y'all do up there? And they're like, oh, you're in Texas, I'm down here, so what do y'all do down here? Like, everybody was like that. So, you know, you would see those weird friendships. You know, you'll have like a football player hanging with like this geeky dude, but for some reason they got something in common and they so cool. You know what I mean? And, you know, although, you know, they might hang out over here, but not over here, but at the same time, they're not talking behind each other's back or anything like that. As an alumni walking on campus now, you know, I might sound like an old dude. I mean, I just graduated this past May, but, you know, it's just not the same. But at the same time, I do see a lot of good things happening on campus. And I'm starting to see that spirit, you know, kick back up. You know, I'm starting to see a lot more Texas Southern University shirts. You know, I'm starting to see a lot more suits and things like that when I walk on campus. I see people intermingling, you know, but at the same time, you know, we still need to take into consideration that there's a lot of work that needs to be done on this campus.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you.